Hello everyone, welcome to Anime No Me, and thank you for joining us for another One Piece video. There are several unexpected events that are happening right now in the One Piece story, and a new twist in which the work is taking a completely different path is gonna be happening. So in today's video, we're gonna talk about the possible events that could happen in the next chapter of One Piece, chapter 1073, and what the next confrontations that will arise in this arc could be. But before we dive into the video, if you're new to the channel or even if you watched a bunch of our videos, we'd be absolutely honored if you'd leave us a like, or even subscribe and maybe leave us a comment letting us know what you thought of the video. It really helps us out, especially with that old YouTube algorithm, and it keeps motivating us to make more content. And if you'd like to help out the channel in a bigger way, consider sharing this video or another one of your favorites with a friend. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So my friends, in the previous chapter of 1072, we saw that Bonnie was about to touch Kuma's memory bubble, allowing her to see all of Kuma's memories and what might have motivated him to do everything he's done so far. In this next chapter, we'll probably get to see some of Kuma's past, possibly in a summarized or complete form, revealing the reasons why he's considered a tyrant king of his kingdom, even being expelled by his subjects. And this is a memory where Bonnie says that he was completely different. Bonnie always said that Kuma was a good king. However, something might have completely changed his personality, forcing him to do the things he didn't want to do. Another thing we might learn from this flashback of Kuma's past is what is currently motivating him. After all, he's climbing the red line, possibly wanting to return to the place where the celestial dragons live. There's even a possibility that Kuma had been tortured this whole time and had his freedom taken away in order to save his wife, who may have also been enslaved by the celestial dragons, or even worse things could have been done to her. You see, so far, Bonnie and not even Vegapunk have spoken about this maternal figure. Vegapunk just says that in Kuma's memories, there was something very painful, which could be the memory of Bonnie's mother. And we also don't know whether she's still alive, or if they did something to her to cause her lose her life. But all this information that we'll get in this next chapter, we'll get to see all of Kuma's memories and what his next goal might be. A few chapters ago, Vegapunk said that he wanted to give something to Bonnie. Now, so far we don't exactly know what that something can be, but it's likely that he's going to give it to her very soon. But from what we can gather, this wasn't Kuma's memories that Vegapunk wanted to show or give to Bonnie. Vegapunk even tried to prevent Bonnie from going into what was supposed to be Kuma's room to see that big bubble of memories. This means that this something that Vegapunk has will be given to Bonnie after she manages to see all of Kuma's memories, revealing the whole truth about Kuma's mysterious past and the mysterious race that this epic character belongs to. In this next chapter, we may even see Kuma's past paralleled with his journey to the top of the red line, because he's still heading towards that goal that'll probably be revealed along with the memories that are shown to Bonnie. But although his objectives might become clearer to us, the reader, it doesn't mean that he's going to be able to fulfill them in this next chapter. It might only be when he reaches the top of the red line. But then again, some admiral could appear to prevent him from reaching the celestial dragons, which could cause a new battle. In the previous chapter, we also had the revelation of who Vegapunk's mysterious ally was, something in which on this channel we had already had some ideas about who this person was, being an infiltrator part of CP0, and it really came out, but a second unexpected revelation also emerged. Just as we suspected, it was that Stussy was an ally of Vegapunk, and there were several reasons why this character was an ally of Vegapunk, but we did not expect that Stussy was a clone of an extremely powerful pirate who might actually be still alive, although it's very likely that they already are an advanced age and quite a bit older. Stussy revealed herself to be Vegapunk's ally, managing to defeat Kaku in just one bite, making the CP0 agent go to sleep, and then told Lucci that the next one to sleep would be him, indicating that in this next chapter, we'll see a fight between Stussy and Rob Lucci. And this is a battle where Lucci, again, could be at a great disadvantage, because this clone of Stussy appears to be quite powerful, as well as the pirate that she was inspired by, indicating that Stussy could possibly win this battle. At her disposal, Stussy has great intelligence, strength, technology in her body, and even something that we didn't know for sure, but it indicates that it could be a devil fruit or some genetic modification, or even she could be a part of a special race that gives her the characteristics of a vampire. At the very least, Stussy has the wings and even fangs capable of making her enemies sleep after being bitten, something quite similar to Vinsmoke Reiju, although she does have the modification in her lineage factor that allows her body to absorb and expel poisons in the way that she wants and however she wishes. So there are several possibilities for this ability that Stussy has, and it's only going to be in chapter 1073 where we'll get the real conclusion of how she has these skills, since all of these possibilities are quite likely. From the cover story and little bits of flashbacks, we know that Vegapunk worked closely with Judge, learning how to use the bloodline elements or lineage factor to alter a person's cells, which would enable Vegapunk to create a clone with body modifications just like a vampire's powers. It's even possible that the pirate Stussy was made from already had these vampire characteristics, or that she was a special race, something something that would make a lot of sense since in One Piece there are several unknown and rare races which are almost or completely extinct. So all Vegapunk would have needed to do was get the original bloodline factor from the original model that Stussy was based on, and then just tweak and replicate, allowing him to clone a person with the same abilities. But one possibility that we on the channel think is probably the least likely of all is that Stussy's clones could have gotten these powers from some kind of paramecia fruit that gives her vampire characteristics. Although it's unlikely since CP0 and no other people than Vegapunk knew that Stussy had these skills. This more or less indicates that Stussy was able to acquire these traits either from some change in her bloodline elements or because of a special breed trait that the original Stussy had. In the current situation that's playing out on Egghead Island, we know that the Seraphim are currently under control of CP0, but Kaku is unconscious and Stussy has just revealed herself as a traitor, leaving only Lucci in combat along with the Seraphim. However, Lilith and Edison entered the fray and are at the combat site in order to give orders to the Seraphim, causing the 4 Seraphim who were originally following CP0's orders to now side with Vegapunk and the Straw Hats again. This turn of events is going to leave Lucci at a complete disadvantage in numbers and strength, allowing the Straw Hats to more easily defeat and flee from Egghead. But as we know, things in One Piece never quite turn out the way we expect. So in this next chapter, it's likely we're going to get a little twist of a situation, because now that CP0 is lost, the Navy is most likely already surrounding the island, along with Admiral Kizaru coming onto scene, who will probably arrive towards the end of this next chapter looking to fight Luffy. And speaking of our favorite rubber captain, in this last chapter, Luffy was nowhere to be seen, which means that he could be preparing to confront Kizaru in this next chapter. Stussy will likely take on Lucci, while Luffy is gonna have to take on Kizaru, and the rest of the Straw Hats will take on the Marines. But with this great conflict building on this island, Vegapunk is gonna need to think of a way to escape the island, together with Bonnie, who will know the whole truth about her father. But with this knowledge, once Bonnie has her blanks filled in, this will allow her to be able to help Vegapunk manage to escape the island before the Navy tries to take her life, or even take Vegapunk's life for good, depending on what she discovers through Kuma's past. We could also expect that any of the Marines that are on their way to Egghead Island are gonna be extremely powerful, causing an even greater difficulty for the Straw Hats. Now, although they're extremely powerful and did get some power-ups during the Wano arc, they're gonna be surrounded by multiple Marines who, although we don't know if they have the same level of skills as the Straw Hats, are still gonna be a huge hindrance, causing them to become exhausted to the point that little by little, the strength of the Straw Hats will begin to weaken. Another thing we don't know is exactly how long Kaku is going to remain unconscious, because he does have an awakened Zoan fruit, so it's likely that the effect that Stussy put on him is not going to last very long due to his accelerated metabolism, allowing him to return to combat much sooner and further hinder the Straw Hats being able to escape the island. And finally, it's likely that we're going to get to see Garp approaching Teach's island, that is the pirate island full of lead, ready to start his goal of rescuing Kobe, along with the small team of Marines that he was able to gather for this mission. So as we can see, there are many possibilities that are going to come to fruition in this chapter. We've got some huge conflicts, we've got incredible confrontations that might have an unexpected outcome, and there may even be the possibility that a character loses their life during this confrontation, causing a much bigger impact on the story. But with all that said, my friends, we'd now love to know what you think about it. What do you think we're gonna learn in this next chapter of One Piece? Do you think we're gonna get the full story of Kuma, or is this gonna play out over a couple of chapters? Because this is a character who has a very deep past. It's not only what he did with Vegapunk, but also his past, everything he did in the Sorbet Kingdom, and beyond. We also have to have the time to see how Bonnie's gonna react. And could we see something that changes Bonnie's perception and even memories of her father? Next, when do you think we're gonna see the Marines make landfall? We know that Kizaru is on his way, and he's got a big contingency of Marines with him. So do you think this is gonna be kind of an end of the chapter, or do you think this is gonna be more like chapter 1074? Let us know what you think in the comments below. So as we wrap up our video for the day, we'd like to thank you all so much for listening and watching, especially those of you who've made it to the very end. Be sure to comment on any themes or ideas that you'd like to see in future videos. And also, since you made it this far, give us a like and hit that red subscribe button before you head out to take on the rest of your day. I hope to see you all in our next video. Let's keep sailing this giant sea together. Take care.